There are fights in anime that entertain you. There are fights that impress you. And then, once in a very long time, there's a fight that changes how you think about storytelling itself. This is the enhanced edition of the most important fight in One Punch Man history. Remastered, rebuilt, every frame sharpened, every impact amplified, every emotional beat given the weight it deserves. Garou, the hero hunter, the human monster, the being who absorbed the power of a god and became something the universe had never seen. Saitama, the Caped Baldy, C-class hero, the man who trained until he broke himself, and in breaking himself, became unbreakable. One Punch Man Saitama vs. Garou. Enhanced Edition. 4K. Let's begin. Before the first punch is thrown, understand what brought both of them here. Garou's journey to this moment is one of the most emotionally complete villain arcs in anime history. He didn't become a monster out of evil. He became one out of a philosophy, a belief that the world's story was wrong, that heroes always winning was a lie, he decided to be that champion. And the universe, in the most brutal way possible, tested that decision every single day. He lost, again and again and again. And every time he lost, his body rewrote itself, adapted, evolved, came back harder. By the time he absorbed God's power and stood before Saitama in his final form, Garou had earned every atom of that strength through suffering. He was the most dangerous being One Punch Man had ever produced. And across from him stood a man who earned his strength through something far simpler and far lonelier. A routine, repeated until his body gave up trying to have limits. Two completely different paths to impossible power. One born from a philosophy, one born from boredom. Phase 1 of the fight establishes something unprecedented in One Punch Man. Saitama is reacting, not ending, not finishing, reacting. Garou's cosmic radiation fist. In the enhanced edition, you can see the technique's full effect. The energy isn't just explosive. It warps the space around it. The strike doesn't just hit. It rewrites the local physics of wherever it lands. It connects with Saitama's chest. Enhanced subtitle. Saitama's internal monologue, shown as text overlaid on his expression. Asterisk that one registered. Asterisk, 3 words. For any other character, irrelevant. For Saitama, 3 words that mean the fight is real. Watch the technique layering in this sequence. In the enhanced edition, you can see exactly what Garou is doing. Water stream, rock, smashing fist forms the base. Whirlwind, iron cutting fist wraps around it. Garou is not just throwing punches. He is conducting a symphony of martial arts that he spent his entire life composing. Enhanced subtitle. Saitama's thought process during this phase. Asterisk, he's reading me. Adapting between moves. This is different. Asterisk. And then, barely visible in a standard watch, but clear in the enhanced edition. Asterisk, this might be interesting. Asterisk, the most important 4 words in the entire fight. The fight relocates to space. Not because either of them planned it, but because continuing at ground level would have ended the planet as a side effect. The enhanced edition space sequence is where the visual upgrade matters most. In space, watch Garou's movement patterns change. Without atmospheric resistance, without gravity affecting his techniques, his speed becomes something different. Something that, even in enhanced detail, tests the limits of what can be visually represented. The most energetic explosive phenomenon in the known universe. Weaponized. Focused. Directed at one target. Enhanced edition subtitle, Garou, as the technique fires. Asterisk, nothing in this universe survives a gamma ray burst. I am sorry, Saitama. You were the only one who ever made me feel like this was real. Asterisk, white screen, pure light, silence. Enhanced subtitle, Saitama, looking at the fading energy around him. Then at Garou, very quietly. Asterisk, was that everything? Asterisk, Garou's expression, shown in close-up in the enhanced edition, goes through fear for the first time in the fight. Not because the attack failed, because of how Saitama said it. Not angry, not excited, disappointed. This is the moment the enhanced edition was made for. The serious punch. In standard quality, you see the impact. You see the aftermath. You feel the power. In the enhanced edition, you see the decision. Not the explosive, dramatic hope of shonen protagonists. A quiet, exhausted, almost tentative hope. The hope of someone who has been disappointed so many times that they barely let themselves feel it anymore. Enhanced subtitle. Saitama's internal thought. One frame before the punch. Asterisk one more time. Come on, let this one matter. Asterisk. The serious punch meets Garou's counter simultaneously. The collision point, shown in the enhanced edition at maximum detail, is not an explosion. It is a tear in the fabric of the moment, of time, of what should be possible. And in that time reversal, Garou experiences everything Saitama has ever felt. The emptiness, the searching, the loneliness of being the most powerful thing alive and having that power mean nothing to the person who has it. Enhanced subtitle, Garou, inside the time reversal. Asterisk. This is what you've been living with. This whole time. Alone. Asterisk. The fight ends, and the real story begins. Garou, stripped of his power, returned to human, standing in the ruins of everything he'd built his identity around. Doesn't run. Doesn't beg. Doesn't bargain. He stands there and waits for what comes next. Enhanced subtitle. Saitama, stopping a few feet away from Garou, looking at him carefully. Asterisk, you felt it, right? In the time reversal. You felt what I feel. Asterisk. Garou, very quietly. Asterisk, yeah. Asterisk. A pause. Asterisk, how do you keep going? It becomes honest. Not the bored face. Not the flat expression. Something underneath all of that. Enhanced subtitle. Saitama. Asterisk, I don't know. I just do. Every day. Asterisk. Another pause. Asterisk. Some days there's a sale on cabbage. Asterisk. He almost laughs. Not quite, but almost. Enhanced subtitle. Garou, looking at the ground. Asterisk. You're the strangest hero I've ever met. Asterisk. Saitama. Asterisk C-class. We're pretty weird. Asterisk. The greatest fight in One Punch Man history. Ending not with a death sentence. Not with a triumphant pose. With a man who almost laughed. And another man who noticed. The enhanced edition of Saitama vs. Garou isn't just about better visuals. It's about what the visuals reveal. In standard quality, you see the power. In the enhanced edition, you see the people. Garou fought his entire life to prove that monsters could win. What he discovered instead was that the strongest person alive was just a person. Tired. Searching. Hopeful in the smallest, most human way possible. And that was the most powerful thing about him. Not the punch. The hope behind it. If the enhanced edition hit different, leave a like. It means everything. Subscribe for more enhanced breakdowns and crossover battles. And drop a comment. What moment in this fight hit hardest for you? See you in the next one. Glowing Star.